An initiative led by the Iowa Statewide Interoperable Communication System Board hopes to get support and funding this legislative season that will help build a statewide radio system. This will enable every public safety agency across the state to communicate with each other during critical times of need.
It's important for Iowa to have a statewide interoperable communication system because we currently don't have one.
To be honest, I think the citizens probably assume this technology already exists and they believe that the infrastructure is there. And they probably don't fully realize that we have such restricted mobility for our portable radios. I think they would be very surprised and disappointed to learn that we haven't solved that problem yet.
If you're involved in a crash like this multi-car pileup on I-80 near Altoona last winter, which required several different agencies to respond, you expect a quick response. But situations like this are a great example of the major communication barriers facing first responders in our state.
If not a daily basis, definitely a weekly basis.
When responding to a call, it should typically sound like this. But in many cases, both in the rural areas and the heavily populated cities, this is often what dispatchers and first responders are dealing with.
If I'm on a scene of an accident, a serious injury accident, and I'm trying to communicate with emergency personnel, they need to know what I'm saying and what I'm seeing. And if I can't get out on the radio, or if I'm trying to coordinate where I'm at exactly or where this injured person is at, I mean, when time is of the essence, this radio issue will come to light very quickly. Yesterday we were in a vehicle pursuit down near Runnels, and the initiating officer at the time, we could hear him clearly, and then halfway through the pursuit, there was no communication whatsoever. As this pursuit is developing, you know, A, we didn't know where the trooper was at, and B, we weren't even sure which tower was going to effectively work at the end of the day. It just added to the stress level and the officer safety issues that much more.
It's a broken record, no matter which agency you ask.
A lot of times on traffic accidents to floods to standoff situations, which we've had no radio communication with our dispatch center.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, whether it is a vehicle pursuit or anything like that where an officer needs assistance and you can't hear them, I mean, that's a no-brainer that could turn into a life or death situation.
Being able to communicate quickly with the right resources is vital to the response. That certainly lives can hang in the balance because of that.
What could be instant communication with the push of a button now takes several seconds, if not minutes. First responders often have to use their own personal cell phones to contact dispatchers or other responding agencies for coordination efforts.
We all know what happens in the telephone game, that the message gets distorted or something gets off or delayed, that the right message doesn't get through very quickly.
A lot of times we have to leave what we're doing, or it actually takes our concentration and our attention off to what we need to be paying attention to. We've had tornadoes in our county, and we've also had flooding, which multiple jurisdictions have arrived to help us, and it is very confusing and time sensitive, where we have to take the time to try to make phone calls into our dispatch center. Plus the 911 calls that are coming into them, it puts a lot of stress on the whole situation.
It's no longer acceptable to have Des Moines no longer able to communicate or not able to communicate with its neighbors, or Des Moines officers or firefighters unable to use their portable radios outside of the city limits, because, as you know, crime doesn't stop at the city limits. Natural disasters or events don't stop at the city limits.
And in light of the recent high-profile cases,
As we look forward, things that have gone on in Paris, things that have gone on in California, the shooting incidents that are going down schools, all of those threats that are really a risk for the Iowa-based population and for public safety providers, we don't have the right tools in the toolbox to address that for more than a single agency response. So it's really important that we give them the right tools to respond in a way that is appropriate to protect the citizens of Iowa.
this interoperable radio system will have a great effect on all citizens across the state.
Faster and better response, and largely because you can take advantage of all resources in the area instead of just those resources that are operating on your existing radio system.
When we blanket the entire state with a statewide radio system and we're all using a single system, those communication pathways between organizations and other jurisdictions are much easier to do.
At the end of the day, for agencies to be on the same tower, the same channel, work clearly is gonna be huge. I mean, I can't express enough how big a deal that will be for agencies to be able to communicate clearly and concisely in emergency situations.
It's my hope that by working together, we can leverage resources, and instead of building a state system and a city system and a county system all next door to each other, that we can take advantage of a statewide infrastructure that allows multiple agencies to participate in the same system.
For the citizens of the state of Iowa, we need this communication system. We need it to improve our responses, speed up our responses, coordinate our responses, to be able to save lives, to be able to put out fires, respond to natural disasters, catch the bad guys, to do our jobs. We want to serve the citizens of Iowa, and we want to do it as best we can. As public safety officials here in Iowa, we encourage all citizens to contact their legislators and urge them to fund the state radio communication system.